weren't expecting. Muslim chick, mic in hand, rapping, must be perplexing, and my girl ain't even stepped in. That's unintentional, we're unconventional. Don't need to mention more, I see the tension in your...
Who am I? I'm an indigenous warrior, fighting for my world and protecting my culture. I look outside at the world around me. I embrace this moment and live life happily.
My name is Gino, and I am the musical production director here at Universal Spirit Center. And tonight I have with me my divine Haley and my divine McKenna. Come on in, y'all.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. It's great to see you.
Magical.
Mine are always good.
Wow, we're doing this thing.
We're doing it.
Don't worry about that monitor over there. It's not acting right. But I'm so glad to have both of you divine lights here.
Thank you so much for including us in this.
This is McKenna, and this is
Haley. Hi.
So, seeing that video, what did you think?
Okay. I said we're going to have to follow that. I love our generation. I think we're so powerful in like fighting back, and I really feel like right now is a time to bring in all of the destruction and like come apart. And I feel like our generation is so like moving forward with all this pain and all this like life is lifing and we are moving forward as a community as a whole, and to see all of those people do those things is just like so refreshing, because it's easy to see media and be like everything's falling apart, and then you see the power of every individual and being like, but look at how we are taking it and recreating what we know.
You're definitely doing that. One of the things I love about, I call them my yummy yummy.
My yummy yummies.
And the consciousness that you bring, you know, I'm not kidding. I see your light from wherever you're sitting. I see your light. And I'm like, ooh, I want people to know about this light that you have. So what did you think about the video, McKenna?
I also was like, I don't know, I think the part that stood out the most was like the international clips they got. Like, this is happening all around. It's not just, you know, corner here, like a pocket here. This is everywhere. And so that speaks volumes about something happening around the globe in this age that is impacting all of us. This isn't just a bubble that we're experiencing, which is such a wonderful reminder of the opportunity we have and how empowered this generation is, for sure. Like, you know, you always hear your parents saying like, well, when we were younger, we weren't allowed to speak, you know? And I'm like, since we are so lucky to have people like you being like, I want to hear from the youth, like that's happening so much more, and it's giving us the mic, you know, of like speaking up about what we want to see changed and like what matters to us, and like that fresh perspective we mentioned, you know.
I love that. I love that. I think that says volume. So jumping into your connection with God. One of the things you spoke a few weeks ago for our conscious giving, and I love that you said that if I'm in a mini skirt, I'm not getting judged. If I'm in my shorty shorts. So tell me about that. I know what it meant for me, but what did that mean for you to be able to express your spiritual connection and not be judged by what you have on, or not people think that because you are wearing something that means you're representing something.
Yeah, I think growing up, I did talk about this on the conscious giving speech, but growing up in like a traditional like Christian household, that was the thing. And it was like, I actually remember somebody saying, my aunt telling me, would you want your grandpa to see you in that skirt? And I was 8 years old. I was like, what the, like I'm a child, first of all, and I had never even thought about skirts being sexualized. Anyways, I just feel like through my journey of like finding what God means to me and redefining God, I was like, God is anything but judgmental. God is all loving. And even if you look at the Bible, like it never says God hated on people who wore miniskirts, and God didn't hate people who were unlike him. No, right? I read the whole thing. Bye. So it's like Jesus was known for loving people who were unlovable. But as humans, we twist things with our shame to make rules that we have chosen to make, right? That's not like God. It's not even in the religion. It's what as humans we're choosing to just put onto other people. And so I spent a few years being like atheist because I was like, I don't want to be a part of any religion or any part of a relationship with God who is judging me for wanting to express myself in whatever way that means. And even if I were fully covered up, that should not change how somebody sees me, especially an all-loving God. Yes. And so with some years of being so rebellious and annoyed at it, I came back with the fresh perspective of like, oh, it's not God, it's humans that are doing this to me.
I love that.
And I feel so much more connected to God knowing that God is like, you do whatever you want, just try to share the love. That's it.
I got you, boo-boo. I got you.
My yummy. Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah.
It's our humanness, and it happens to us in all different arenas. Our humanness that, I remember for me, it was, I was raised Catholic, and even as a kid, I did not get like, okay, so let me run this by you. God is all there is, but now there's a devil that can compete with God. I was like, didn't God make the devil?
Yeah.
No, the sister was like, no. And you stopped playing around. I was like,
I got questions.
I can't participate in that. I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in the devil. And so if God is all that there is, then that's the source. That's it. So what was that moment for you that you started? I know our parents have one idea for us for our religion or spirituality. Did you change from what you grew up with? And when did that happen for you?
Yeah, so I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, which is, it is known to be a little culty, but we weren't too deep in it. But it was like this set of ideals and all of this stuff. And I remember being on a mission trip with my mom. So she was taking me to all the different missions along the California coast, which was beautiful, and I was learning so much about this journey and the spirituality, and it was amazing, and she was so loving through all of it, and I loved spending time with her. But I remember we stopped for sushi, and I was just sitting across from her, and I was 8 at this point, maybe 9, and I was like, Mom, I have to tell you something. And she was like, yeah, and I was like, I'm atheist too. Like, I went through that too. I have to be zero. I have to be ground zero, and it felt like I was coming out. Like, it really did, and that was, she was crying and stuff because she was like, oh no, what I do wrong,
Right,
and
yes.
I totally get it. Like, looking back, I would have felt the same, if I'm like, oh, this is what I want them to like kind of be exposed to, and then feeling like a failure in that, whatever. But so I felt like, looking back, I think I just needed to go to ground zero and be like, I'm still loved and accepted and okay if there's no religion. And then testing the water and be like, oh, it's okay that I said I'm atheist, I'm still alive, and like I said I am atheist, atheist and I'm still loved. Yeah, I didn't evaporate. Okay, now I feel safe to explore other ones. And it's been so long of like growing that connection. And I didn't say God for the longest time because I was like, universe. Like I would need to make sure you don't think I'm talking about the guy in the sky. Like because there is this redefinition of it. And now I feel way more confident and like centered in saying God because it's my own God and everyone's God is like a different. It can be different, all of that stuff. But that was just like looking back. I think a pivotal moment to be like, okay, now I can just grow from here and see what sticks.
I love that. I love that. Because, being Catholic, God was blonde and blue-eyed. And so, I had questions that my mother nor the nuns wanted to answer. They were like, you just take it. This is what it is. This is how it is. And I remember I wanted to be an altar girl, but girls could not be an altar girl. And so I broke into the...
We're starting out with a cry. Yeah. It's already such a story.
I broke into the father's dormitory, and I got into the body of Christ. And I took a whole bunch of the body of Christ, and it was recess. And I went out on the playground, and I was blessing it. May God be with you in the name. And I was giving all of my classmates the body of Christ. And Sister Lucretia said, Miss Walker, what are you doing? And I just shoved all the body of Christ.
I'm seeing this play out like in a cartoon. Like this is so amazing.
I just shoved because I knew if she caught them in my hand, I would get killed by her and then by my mother as well. So I just shoved them in my mouth. And I thought, ooh, that's it. I'm done. I was sitting in class waiting any minute. God is just going to strike me down. I'm out of here. And I was surprised when I made it to the end of school. I was like, I'm still here.
Wait.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, when you start to feel your connection with Spirit, your connection with God. Now, as young, beautiful, talented women, did you find peer pressure amongst your friends with different some people are religious, some people spirituality, some people are atheists, some people don't know. Did you find with your friends that, certain ones you could have a conversation with about God, and then there were certain ones that you couldn't? Did I? Yeah.
Did I? Kenna. No, okay. I definitely spent a while not talking to anybody about any religious or spiritual aspect of myself. And now, I show up to the Spirit Center with 6 of my friends. I invite everyone because I'm not afraid of it, because it has, like I said, been redefined in my mind of like what God is. And so I kind of have that confidence that you were talking about of like, now I say God and I'm like, you interpret it how you want. But I think in general, I still have a little bit of weariness with certain groups, and I actually just kind of keep that to myself to keep with certain groups just to like protect my energy, because this is such a spirit, like it's such a important piece of my life. And if I'm telling somebody about law of attraction or manifestation or God, how I see God as, and they're like, ooh, what do you mean? Or like they're putting their religious trauma onto me. I'm like, ugh. I was like, I need to keep my little bubble. And I know that when I talk to Kenna or Peyton or Jade or my friends that I bring here, I'm like, I know when I'm talking about it. I know that I'm not putting this onto you. I know that I'm not using this in a shaming way. I know what my God means to me and that it doesn't have to be the same for you. Like I have friends that I know are mature enough, I guess, emotionally mature enough to like not take on what I have to say or know that it's not like a religious condemnation or what the hell, or the heck. So anyways, I didn't feel like I had any pressure outside of my family to be any kind of religion or spirituality, but I do feel that I had an internalized fear of like, if I start talking about God, then people are going to think that I'm like crazy, or they're going to think that I'm shaming them, or they're going to think that, all the things that were put on me as a child, I was scared that other people would think I was going to put onto them. So I've had this journey with God probably since I was like 19. And I have been doing social media since I was around 19. And at one point, maybe when I was 22, I was like, okay, God is like the center of my life. Like, this is how I move through. Like, if I didn't have faith, I wouldn't be here. But I didn't want to talk about it at all online, because I was like, oh my God, people are going to think that I am, losing it. Because that's what it felt like when I was a child. Anyways, now I'm finally getting to the point, like I said in the beginning of this, of like, if people hear me say God or universe or spirituality or whatever, and they're like, ugh, that's them. And then I set my wall up around that. But I'm so grateful to have friends around me that understand it, and that we can have our own idea of God and then converse about what that means. It's really special.
I love it. It truly is. And it wasn't that long ago that, the mass media, you couldn't talk about meditating.
Yeah.
Pie in the sky. Law of attraction was somewhere way out there. It was like, whoa, a Chandler? Oh my God, you're freaky, freaky, freaky.
Yeah.
So the world is growing up and consciousness is expanding. So I'm getting ready to hit this real hard market, because people have a thing with God and abortion. And I just want to know, what is your
My question was like, hey, Kenna.
No, Haley's an answer.
Oh. Get him.
We'll all pitch in, Just because these are the things that people really want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know, how do you balance? Is there a balance for you? What do you feel about that? So, no pressure.
So the connection between God and abortion.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, because I know God is used in the abortion argument a lot. Like, okay, this person, this baby is here. God wanted it here, and that's why it should be born. But also, God also gave us this power of decision, and this power of choice, and power of connecting to our own body and intuition of what's right for us and our health, and like allowing us to contemplate, can I raise this child in the way that God would have wanted, for example. Like, you can flip the script to still have God be the support of your answer. You can flip the script to have God be the reason why you let the child go.
Yes.
Because I feel like the argument that I really attach to myself is like quality of life, like, am I going to emulate God's love and God's support and God's like just like relentless love if I don't have the resources to take care of this child, if I'm not in the space to do it, if I am not healthy enough? There's so many reasons, and I think it's like so important to feel into that and be like, can I provide the best life for this child? And I think that's what God could potentially want. I don't know, but that's my perspective on it. It's really about the expression of love, and I think the expression of love is best done through loving something so much that you want the best for it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I absolutely agree with you. And, I can't believe that I'm in an era now where you could be jeopardized for making a choice. That I remember my mother sharing stories with me about young ladies that made a choice for them, for their life, for their body, and some of them died because there was not any protected way for this to take place. And so we have this back on the playing field now. And I'm a big proponent of Abraham Hicks, who is a Chandler that I love. Yeah. And I remember Abraham speaking with someone that was very upset that they had been abused as a child. And I'd never heard this flip on it, and I've always felt that abortion is a personal choice. And when people go, well, what is God going to say? And I'm like, God is a loving God.
Period.
Yeah, so God is not judging you, you are judging me. But I love what Abraham said, and I've applied this to abortion as well, or to anything, that we have teachers that come here to help us grow collectively. And some of the greatest teachers have gone through some of mankind's hardest experiences. But because of that, we have learned to love more. We have learned to support more. We have learned to be more understanding, you know. And I thought, wow, what teachers, you know, that come forward to you know, a teacher that is abused, or a child that is abandoned, or a child that there's an abortion. There's always free will. And this connection with Source never severs because of a choice that I make in my life, no matter what that is. And it is my choice. And I will share with people always that don't worry about my choice. My choice doesn't affect you, doesn't affect your family, doesn't affect your family. It doesn't even affect my family, it affects me. And it is my choice with my God, what we decide to do. So that's where I come in at.
So good. Yeah. 100%. I love what you said. You said it's not God judging me, it's you judging me. That's my number one. Number one is literally God is an all-loving God. Every sin is seen equal, even if you see it as a sin. Forgiven, boom, that's the dying on the cross. If you want to get religious, I'm going to get religious on you, right? Boom, period. I'm going to use my religious background, right? I read the Bible, I know what I'm talking. Anyways, so yeah, use your man-made shame that you're not even, so that's one. If that even was cohesive, that's just my thought of like, Jesus and God are loving, and they will forgive you if you see it as a sin, and it's not in my opinion, but you do you, baby. But two, this is my I guess this is my number one is, let me just flip it. I think as humans, it's silly to think that we are bigger than a God, as in that the destiny of life can be in our hands like that. To think that me choosing the abortion, that was decided millions of years ago, I think, by God. I think to think that God was just like, okay, here's all the power. I have none. Oh my God, if you do it, I will hate you. Please don't do it. Like, what? So I think that I think, you know, people will say, well, God had a plan for this baby. No, God knew that they were going to abort the baby. Period. So I think it's so silly for us to think that we have all the power and that the world's going to just go to shreds if we do one thing. That is so ridiculous. Like, God is so 900 steps ahead. God knows everything already. That's how I see it. Like, everything is already predestined and beautiful, and we have free will as humans, but God already knows what we're going to do. So it's to think that me getting an abortion is okay, God's entire rule book is done, and he hates me now and whatever, is insane. So I think that if you want to use the argument of well, God had a plan for this baby, I would say I think God's plan was that the baby would be gone. Oh, that was a little aggressive, but that the baby would be in another life, or
I'm going to tag onto that.
Yeah.
That people don't realize that the baby is creating too. The baby's creating too. It is a viable, conscious source connected with God. It is not separate from God. It is creating as well. And there's so many things in the mystery of the unknown of life that we do not know. We don't know. And so for me, everybody is a co-creator. Everyone is co-creating. And people think because it's little and it may not speak our language that it's not. But oh, yes, it is. So I agree with you, my love. I agree with you 100%. Okay, so we're going to ease up now. Because, I don't want people to lose their mind.
You brought the young generation in. What do you want?
They want the mic. They want the mic.
That next time you'll come in and, because we'll do this again. I want to do this again. So what is one thing that you spirituality that could help you or other people if they understood it better?
Yummy. Yummy, yummy. You're the yummy dude. Okay. Sorry, I called you dude. Anyways, one thing that I think people could. Oh my God, there's too many things. But I would say, okay, that I'm just gonna say one because I could go off on this subject, so I'm just gonna go with my key. And that is that spirituality is about getting closer to love. And so we always have the choice, always, to either be in love or fear. And so when somebody thinks of spirituality, they're like, boho, retreats, meditation, deep breathing, cold plunges. Like there's 100 spark, or what are they called? Like those words, buzzwords that you could use to define spirituality. But I think at the core of it, spirituality is the decision between love or fear. How can I get closer to my truth, to love, to presence? How can I move from my fears, my protective mechanisms, my limiting beliefs, my trauma? And so I think if people understood that, instead of being like, I need to go to an ashram in India, I need to do this meditation retreat, I need to do this and this and this, what you're doing when you do that is shaming yourself into thinking you need to be a different person to be accepting of love. So I think if we knew that we were just putting self-awareness onto spirituality instead of living in the love of spirituality, we'd be a lot better off. And I spent years doing this thing where I was like, oh, okay, let me look at my trauma. Oh, it's right here. You're a piece of shit, or you're a piece of crap because you've done all these things, and now I'm going to use that self-awareness to just trample you in that shame. And I think if you just got clear on how can I move closer to love in my life, day by day, moment by moment, that's it. It's so simple. You find yourself being irritated in traffic or from a family member. You're like, how can I get closer to love? It is such mundane things in life that move us closer to our higher self and love and God. It's not the big things. The big things are great, but it's the moment where you take a moment to just like, okay, I need to breathe. Or, oh, I'm feeling like tears coming up. How can I be more loving toward that child in me that never got that? Instead of like, ew, you're having emotions on a Tuesday when you should be doing this and you're in traffic and you should be mad about this. Like, it's so simple and it's so feasible for anyone. It's not the blonde hair, blue-eyed heterosexuals. It is for every single person to experience this goodness. It's within us all. And I really think that life is just like us getting closer and unleashing all of those layers of limiting beliefs to get us back to our core and that curiosity, the truth, the intuition, the God within us. And it's simple.
I love it. And it is always simple. Right, McKenna?
She covered a lot there. That was beautiful. And I'm so glad you brought up like the higher self. Like it could be as simple as being like, what? Because something I do is just like, what would my higher self do right now? Or what can I do to connect to my higher self? And those decisions and those like kind of brainstorming was pretty intimidating because I was like, well, there's 9,000 things I can do, and that like, do I need to change up my daily routine? Do I need to read different things? Like, which religion do I follow? Like all of these things that felt very overwhelming. And then as I felt most soothed by just being more simple and being like, oh, follow my intuition of what, like, okay, that little walk in the park when I put my eyes to the sun makes me feel that much more connected to God or source or like myself. I'm gonna follow that. I'm gonna do that more. Each little example in my life that, or it's a conversation with my best friend, like that makes me feel connected to God. Okay, I'm gonna do that more. Like volunteering, I'm gonna do that more. Just it's that it doesn't have to. I was approaching it in not the most efficient way of looking at all my options and then trying each one and forcing it. Whereas now I just do my normal mundane tasks and see which things light me up, and then those lead me to more and more and more. And it's like this ripple effect, and it's really natural and it's organic. And for me, that's what aligns, and for me, that's what helps my spirituality. And so I feel that it's like you said, it's all within us, but even knowing what to do next is also within us. So if the next time someone asks like me about the spirituality thing, I'll just be like, just pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, just pay attention. It's so subtle, but as you listen, that voice, that little inkling, that little signal comes stronger and stronger, and then it's magical, and then the world opens up, your heart gets bigger, like all of these things, you know.
Oh,
beautiful.
That's yummy. That's
Yummy.
yummy. That's so awesome. Wow, that's really beautiful. Both of you, really, really beautiful. You know, going back to Abraham, because one of the things I love about them and the journey of learning oneself, the journey of connecting, the daily connection, you know, and there is this thing that if you meditate all day, and I remember the first time I tried to meditate, I was like, oh, this is never going to happen for me. Because they said, you know, let your mind go blank. Well, my mind was filled with 455 things as soon as they said blank. But the journey that each of us, individually and collectively, that we are on, this process that you've learned that, oh, the simplest things is the easiest connection. You know, meditating every day or not meditating every day doesn't make you more spiritual or less spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, finding that what lights you up, that connection of spirit. I started really breaking down my practice to being very, very simple. And Abraham had one question or one request. Nothing is more important than you feel good. And I thought, oh, that's just too simple.
Yeah.
I got to do some more work. It's just too simple. And so, you know, those times when you find yourself out of pocket, because that's part of it too. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. Is there something, so for me, what I do now when I find myself either on a little hamster wheel, I love waterfalls. And I have been blessed to be around waterfalls and to feel that power and to be like, wow, that power of this waterfall that no man is creating, this is a natural essence, and that's also within me. So I can go to my waterfall and be in that moment, and it's like, all right, I can woosah. What can you go to in your moment to tap you in?
Beautiful. Waterfalls. I love waterfalls. Oh, why are they so potent? Yeah. It's so funny. Going outside, it's so funny. Because it's like, just walk a few feet, see the sun, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's all I needed. Wow. Are you talking mostly about physical spaces or things to do?
Or things, because I hold that in my mind. You know, that's for me, I'm just talking about something that can help you can shift your energy. Because, like you said, when you go outside, you know, there are a lot of times when I go for a walk, I'll stop and smell flowers and things, and you know, it just reminds me to remember that everything that I need to create whatever is within me.
Yes.
But at first, I've got to make that connection.
Yeah.
I got to connect in. And so we all have our little tricks
Yeah.
that, you know, we can do that make us like,
Yeah. We're back, baby.
yeah, back, baby.
I'm back. I got two things. Number one, I feel like the reason why I'm hesitating to say it, because they are both kind of basic spiritual. But the first one is almost every time that I'm feeling bad, it's because I'm in a shame spiral. And so it could be meditation. Oftentimes it's just taking a breath, or I do like to dance too. Now, I'm just like saying a bunch of things. I'm like, actually, but I kind of go through my list of things, but usually the first thing is like actual, just like, what is my brain doing right now? And I do believe in like the rampaging and like believing that we can totally get out of these thoughts. And I think one of the things that I didn't do for 15 years that would have served me was actually feeling the emotion. And I know that when I'm in my head, I'm not going to get in my body and I'm not going to be present. And so the first thing I usually do nowadays is, what is my brain telling me right now and how can I change that? What feeling am I feeling right now and how can I sit with that and be loving toward it? And a lot of times it's just like laying down, just be like, okay, what's going on? There's been so much buildup of emotion that I'm like, I'm letting myself rest, sleep, nap, do what I need to do so much. It also is winter, we're getting in that kind of phase. And so the first thing that I do is like, what's going on in my mind? What am I feeling? Kind of just getting like, interrogating my inner world and my body and like, what am I feeling, and breathing into that. And the second thing is I like to do some sort of either writing or art. So I journal pretty frequently. It's one of those things that I don't do daily, but when I feel like shit, when I feel like crap, I, sorry. When I feel like poo poo, I, I know my journal needs, because every journal entry I start out with very dark into like, actually, it's fine. And the sunset's gonna hit in a second. Maybe I could look outside. Actually, like, my cat is cuddling on me and purring, and this is so precious. Or actually, I just got a voice memo from my friend. Isn't that beautiful that somebody's thinking of me? Like, it's insane how one page of writing is like, my mind is just completely cleared. It doesn't always happen that fast. But journaling is such a good way to just like, what's going on in my brain without judgment. I also I have magnet poetry that on my fridge that I just like to do like little poems. So some sort of art like that can be helpful. But a lot of it is really just like in the moment, what's happening. I don't have a specific place that I go to, although going to the beach and being like, look how big this is, and every day it runs, and every day it's fine. Not runs. I'm okay. Every day it's existing, it's moving, the waves are going, and I'm thinking that my life is just the one thing that God forgot about, right? How crazy is that to think I'm that big in the world? So to see something huge like that and it every day operating, I'm like, oh, me? You think I can't like exist or, move through this, I guess. And so it's either interrogating my thoughts, beach, or art/writing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. McKenna.
Those are awesome. I'm gonna add it to my list. Speaking of lists, I have something my therapist really suggested for me when I am in just like a overload or like super darkness that I feel so trapped in. Because during those times for me, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Nothing's gonna help. And she had me like make a self-care box, and it has everything I need in there, and including, I think the most important thing in there is a list of, I wrote down everything that I know can help me. So it's like, get up, and it's like, go jump in the ocean, and it says on there, because when I'm in the panic, I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do. All my tools go out the window. So that lists all my tools, and then if I'm like, okay, have I done any of those things yet? Well, then don't think, like, do some of those things, then reevaluate. Do some of those things, reevaluate again. What's changing? What's becoming more clear? So that's been so helpful. And as far as like a mindset thing, 3 things also is, one, something that Haley knows I talk about all the time is like, I'll think about my 90-year-old self just sitting in this rocking chair and just reflecting on my life and being like wishing to be back in her 20s again, and then like, I'm here. What would I do? How would I spend this time? What decision would I make? How could I make this best for myself and everyone around me? Like, and having that, like, because I do love the wisdom from people older than me, and I love like that community, that support, but it's like, how can I find that within myself? I do, once I visualize her and be like, wow, I just got granted the best wish ever, it changes my frequency for sure. It changes my like motivation and my outlook and my perspective. Maybe it just helps lift me up 1%, but that 1% it's easier to get to 2% after that. And then another mind trick is that I'm like, okay, life's a game. Like, this is a game. I can do whatever I want. Is this how you want to spend it? Like, and like, it's the living in the delusion, something that Haley talks about a lot too. Like, we can create our own reality, and like, say you're in a horrible situation, that situation may just be there, but how can you shift your attitude around it? How can you make this the best that it possibly can be, even if it sucks? And like, I think, I don't know, third, don't have a third, actually. That was just testing you. Got it. But laughing. It was laughing, now that I remember. It was laughing. Anything that you can do that, you know? As long as it
Absolutely.
is consensual and it's good.
Well, okay. We are gonna stop right here. I want to put up these babies' picture for you to see in the community, because when you see them, they're full of light and joy and vibrancy. And I know we are a very conscious community, and we reach out and touch. And so just know when you see Haley or McKenna, or you see the tribe when they come in, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we are blessed to have them. So blessed. And with that, there we go. Now, let's plug the Lights, Lines, and Laughter. That is our acting showcase that'll take place December the 20th. It will be here at the Lions Club. It's a fundraiser. It's going to be a wonderful night. We have some wonderful things available, some comedians that will be here. The monologues that they are working on, the actors are really fantastic. And we'll have a closing surprise for everyone. So you want to make sure Sunday you can get your tickets. There will be somebody at the table there for you. So with that being said, I want to thank our community. I want to thank Haley, and I want to thank McKenna
Thank you.
for spending this time with me and sharing your heart. There's so much more, and I love that. So that means we have to do this again, because we can go deeper, and everybody will want to come out and be a part of it. It is because of your blessings and all that you do in your conscious So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for being with us tonight. Once again, let's thank Haley and McKenna for being here. Such beautiful and divine lights. My name is Chino. I am your music production director, and so blessed and grateful to bring this to you. Know that next Wednesday we will have our Selena Maitreya, and Selena will be doing Living in the Ego as it creates. Yeah, it's really powerful. She's a powerful spiritual teacher. So I look forward to seeing you then, and know that you're always loved and you're always blessed. Peace and blessings.